actors on the stage, to be honest with you, to be really honest. To make this right, guys. Nikki. One of the actors had to go home, and that was Allison. So we have to let's give her a hand. Next to me is Jennifer and Nina on the other side. I didn't say their last name because I always mess up people's last names. So I'm going to ask you to say.
Jennifer Sion.
This is going to be really kind of the discussion we're going to have is going to be too short. I'm going to tell you this right now. And this is not an easy thing for me to do because this play is still going through me. So what and this happens with a powerful piece of work. You don't know anything about it until sometimes in the middle of the night, a week later. And you know what I'm saying as a writer, you don't know. You know nothing. So this is all incredibly on the surface, not a comfortable place for me as a writer to talk about such a deep and incredible piece of work. But let's play with this as much as we possibly can. And so we're going to talk a brief amount of time, and we're going to open it up to you, and you react to feedback for that. Like I said, I don't even know where to start, except to say, Che, let me start with you because it was born with you. And I know your work, and I've given you a prize actually as a playwright.
Yes, you did.
You earn more money than I have. It's right. I'm gonna ask you, Che, just go right into it. Where are you in this?
Where am I in this?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
because you know it tells a story like where are you as a writer in this? How did you place yourself? How did it come? How did you get born?
Well, it's a very strange thing to say, but I think I'm all of them. Actually.
Yeah.
And I'm a half brother,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm one of 12.
Mm-hmm.
And there's all possible permutations and projections in my family. And so I just was kind of reacting to that. And at some points I've been each of these people, peacemaker, the protector, and the chaos bringer. Perhaps more chaos bringer than anything else. And Sheila, who's not with us, who also wrote a couple of the songs, always insists that I'm Bob. She always said from the beginning, like, you're definitely Bob, that's definitely you. So that's it. And it just, these are the sort of girls I went to school with. Punched me, kicked me, chased me around, was very rude to me, and then was less rude to me at certain times and had more interesting encounters and grew up. And, yeah.
You know, it's funny because I'm kind of going through the same thing in my own life. I mean, in a way, they say your family is the one organization you can't volunteer to join. You are just in there, and you know you like that or not.
Yeah.
But you know the writer's axiom: always write what you know.
Mm-hmm.
What do you know in this?
I know all of it, pretty much. Yeah. The bits that I don't know, I made up. But I think the bits that you make up are you're still working out something about yourself. It's not quite so immediately apparent, but the imagination is refracting something through the prism of the imagination. You're still dealing with the fundamental question of the play, and probably all my plays, which is about the duality of family, the dual nature of it, where it holds you and it also chokes you at the same time. And that's something you kind of never reconcile.
How does the writer and the actor, how does the writer and the director not conflict with each other? Because there's a point where the director has to tell the writer to get out of the way.
That's right.
So how does that work with you as a writer? Yeah. I mean, there is a point where writers don't come to rehearsals anymore. You have to tell a writer, thank you very much. Yeah. Now this is our show.
Absolutely.
How does that process happen when both of those reside within you?
Well, I'm getting better at it. I think I've directed about 4 of my own plays now. And I have to say, I wish I could go back and do the first one again, because I wasn't quite on it. That split wasn't working, so I found a cut. There was a beautiful cut, and I found it way too late. I found it right at the end of the run, and I think if I'd been directing someone else's work, I would have found it in week 2. So I'm getting better at splitting that part of myself off and being really ruthless. I think, and you know this as a writer, it's all in the cuts. It's all in just absolutely get rid of what doesn't work. And a lot of the time cutting that raw favourite bit.
In fact, they tell you if you laugh at something, that's the part that's got to go.
Right, just go back. The bit you love the most, just
That's
get
got to
rid
go.
of it.
Yeah, that's got to go.
So I've gotten better at that.
Now, I know you and I know your work, but I got to ask this question because I'm sure some people are asking it in themselves. What gave you permission to do this work? You know what I'm saying?
I think I know.
No, seriously. What in you gave you the permission? And I don't mean the right. I'm talking about the permission. That's a different thing. Of course, you have the right to write whatever you want.
Yeah.
The permission is different.
Yeah, well, I didn't think about it too much at the beginning, and at one point we actually did look at a very different racial composition of it. All I was trying to do was capture what they now choose to call multicultural London English. My generation was the first generation to do that, born in the 60s, going to school in the late 70s, early 80s. Specials, Madness, Selector, all those sort of bands. That's how we talk. And if you had your back to a group at the school I went to, you couldn't tell who was Chinese, who was white, who was Irish, who was black. You just didn't know. So I'm quite acclimated to that. So I just thought, let me just get that right, and then we'll find the right people to do it. I'm also very lucky that I'm associated with a wonderful place called WAC, Weekend Arts College. You know, there's a few people who they're all fucked off and and we were able to pull some girls from there to just read and make sure they were right. And at some point, you just got to not worry about it. You have to take it very seriously.
That just my last question. I want to open up to everyone else. Because this is, like I said, we don't have a lot of time to actually go into this. This is a very deep piece of work. So you are saying, and I'm only saying this because, a little bit older than you, but it's the same kind of terrain.
Yeah, I think so.
We're getting narrower, tighter, where people have to stay in their little niches and you venture out. People think it's incorrect. People think it's out of order, blah, blah, blah. Is that a process? Is that a transitional process? Is it something we've locked into and here for a few years from your, looking at the hinterland?
Well, it's really interesting because I never thought obviously we all look back on a period of youth and say, wow, that was the time. But it does seem that there was a brief period where things were much more fluid in terms of who you would move with, who you would rave with, music, and those things are starting to, you're right, they seem to be getting much more compartmentalized. The atmosphere, it's interesting, I spent 6 months in America, and coming back I can feel the atmosphere is very much different. It is. People are pulling back into their clans, and that's to me that's a shame.
That is interesting.
And it's not what London's about.
Yeah.
We're in this theatre. This is let's see, waves of immigration that have all been absorbed, and all those influences go back 100 years. So,
thank you. That's really good. We can venture out with that. Anushka, I have to say, now this may sound like a very odd thing to say, but I'm going to say it because sometimes I can be odd. Often, you have the musical maturity of a person much older than you. It is astonishing. And being a former New Yorker, I have to say I can see Manhattan in your work. I've known Stephen Sondheim. I can hear, you are there. But the maturity of it is mind-blowing. And it's deeply rich. And honestly, being a synesthete, I see things anyway when I hear music. It's total Manhattan. And I don't mean it's not a pastiche. It's not like imitating. You understand the sound. So how the hell did you do this?
That's a hard question to answer. I don't know, that's just my language. I grew up in a house with my parents, neither of them were musicians anymore, but they were trying to be musicians, and all my family played instruments, and my parents And it doesn't matter if it's blues or kind of a whole cinematic orchestra level or house music or whatever. It just has to be true.
This was kind of a gig in the sense that you came to Che. You guys came together. You didn't. It wasn't like created. It wasn't a Genesis thing where it was at the bang. I mean that it was. That it was. I mean that. I mean that it came to you.
Yeah.
How did you? Where do you, as a musician, as a composer? Where did your music meet this text? Because there has to be, I think anyway, a meeting and an extension in many ways as a composer.
Well, this is the lucky thing is this is a very came and written for. So by now I kind of know what to expect when I get in with my own work. So it's very morning. And I'm like, oh, this will be something I can work on. When we started working together 5 years ago, the first couple of songs I wrote, we kind of related to where I was at that point, where I found that easier. And this hasn't been that hard. I've worked with Etienne Sisters, and I have a half brother and disability plans and children, and both my parents have this. So that's actually an incredible. I found this a really easy topic. It's almost easier than romantic to get into. Like everyone's got a brother or a sister or an uncle or an auntie who doesn't get on with another uncle or auntie or something. It's so
And Tina, you are in many ways the fourth actor. Nikki, I'm sorry.
I'm Nina.
That's Nina, that's Nikki. We do it all the time.
Nikki. Okay. Nikki, sorry. Please, I'm sorry. I'm still actually in the play. So I haven't left it. Nikki, you are in effect the fourth actor on the stage in many ways. I mean in every way. And the other thing that you are, besides being an incredible pianist, the other thing is that you are the baton. So if you go off, the actors, singers go, they'll go off. I mean, they'll find themselves, but they're relying on you. So it's a huge job to steer this ship on the stage. How do you do that? How do you, I mean, no, it's a really huge job because you're the conductor. You conduct the whole thing. You conduct through that piano, the cues, everything that's happening. Plus you have to honor this composer's music. Plus the word, the text, and you have to take the direction. So how do you, what's your background? How are you? First of all, I have to tell you, it's incredible. Where does your beginnings come from?
It's an interesting question, actually. What the things on the question?
Because I don't, they can't hear you, so right.
So yes, with not all the questions, they're always interesting. Yeah, I started out as a jazz musician. I sing and play.
That's why it works. Okay, that's why you can do it. Yeah.
And but this has been a real challenge for me. This project, this show, it's great. But just as a musician, you're on stage and you might solo artists as well. You might chat to music a little bit, have a bit of banter. When you play, you're kind of like just in your zone. And quite often I've been in my zone, but in my zone, and like almost cut off from everybody else and shows like to it, You can't just be in your zone, you have to be part of I'm changing what I was on. So it shapes, this amazing direction, challenged me big time and made me think about myself as one of the people on stage and like my role and so it's been an amazing opportunity for me to express myself differently in a different way artistically.
So when you say jazz musician, because that's a massive hinterland. Who is it that you listen to?
I listen to lots of different people. I started off listening to free jazz, like I listened to Charlie Parker. How can I get good at big rock?
How did I know that? How did I know that?
The intro bit of the whole thing came out of one of the improvisation.
Yeah.
And then these guys were like, that's cool, that's not cool, that doesn't work, and that just organically became part of is an improvisation that you write down. Improvisation is a composition that you make up spontaneously.
Absolutely, totally.
So there is very small fine line.
I'm from Chicago and grew up in the era of AACM and all of that whole movement of just, and Henry Threadgill, of just, you know, the jazz musicians who say, if I hear a sound, I think of the next sound. You know, I never imitate. I'm never ever doing the same thing.
In a way, it's challenging for me to kind of do something that's sort of
Locked in.
locked in a sense. Because like even stuff like behind the sort of series of video switches that really on the tree right now, you know, that came also out of improvisation that we did in rehearsal, and that came out of my experience with prepared piano. So like, and it was all very organic, but the process we had in rehearsal, we're all part of it, you know. I know when people want to say they're plays, so I can't really never think come up with that idea, and it's that we don't, it's very much been like that. And the piano and myself have been like another character, another person, and we've all, you know, been each other in different ways. And like, Pilar is an amazing
She could have come out.
Come on out. Are these, or sometimes people come out on the stage.
Hey.
She had like a pair of scissors, and she had like a spanner, and even things to make sounds as like a piano. And Pilar just brought this amazing stuff out. She's like, I've got this, and I've got this, and I've got that, and then we just experimented like, what does that sound like? What does that sound like? But to have something that's kind of set, that's coming from a jazz mentality of it's always going to be different. Every time you play it, it's going to be different. And then it's much like 3 hours, every chord is different.
Every chord is different.
You know, so there's kind of like not make it sound prestige, but still have the jazz character, but also make it still part of it.
Lock it into the, exactly.
It's been a challenge, but I love that.
I can hear you. I mean, when I was up there, you know, part of the experience for me was just spacing out on what you do with that piano, because that was clean, and but it was also free. So that's why it was magnificent. I'm telling you. Jennifer, question. I'm looking at your credits, which are astonishing. City of Angels, A Long and Happy Life, Color Purple, X Factor, the musical, The Praise Singer, Ghost, Hairspray. This is high-end, West End, Broadway, big time. Well, no, but it is Broadway. Yeah, I'm telling you, folks, that's what it is. West End, listen. This is kind of in a way the opposite in a sense. There's a lot of stuff that you have to do that isn't, you know, working with this kind of work. It's very set, but it's not like that. How do you find yourself there? It's a wonderful performance.
Thank you. Amazing, really liberating. It's been a challenge, but one that I've wanted for a while. I think with a lot of the big musicals, you often have a number, you have your one line, it's the same every night. You know, you're replacing someone that did it in a class before you and a class before that. So working on something like this, which is so fresh and organic, and I have a completely different show every night.
Would you be scared? Because to go back to what you were saying, you do a show like Color Purple. You walking into something. You walking into a shape. You know, and you audition, and you got to audition the shape. They don't want you to deviate too much because it's about the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and you obviously are quite terrific at all of these kinds of work. You're getting hired so much to do it all, and it's hard to get hired and that kind of stuff. So then finally you come into a show. That's why I was asking, was you scared?
Yeah, yes, but only for a very tiny, short while. I have faith in what I do as an artist, and then I was in such incredible hands. The team that we've worked with, you know, the girls that I'm working with, that everybody is just, you just feel like you're in safe hands. So that quickly went, that sort of fear.
So that's interesting because generally, an actor who does, you know, you're working behind to do very precise, technical, high end. I mean, this is, you know, 50 pounds of pop ticket to come see stuff that, you know, your work. To you, and I mean, a producer, director would be looking at how you can step in. I mean, it's basically, or you
that's what I'm needing in my sort of career where I'm at. That's what I want to do. I want to be doing an extension of me on the stage as opposed to what I'm told to do on the stage. We get the direction and everything, but we were given so much freedom and scope to just run with whatever comes to us.
As an actor, are you singer? Is there a part of you that's writing on that in that role? You know what I'm saying? It's like you have a coach on the text, you have to use the direction, you have a direction. But is there a space in that role for you to do something? Because, like I said, the show like Purple, there is. Do you see what I mean? Is there space in that space? Is there breathing room for you?
You mean in this sort of production? Absolutely. Tens of, so much. Yeah, definitely. And it's very hard to explain the difference. Maybe it's because it is such a unique show, and I think you can feel that it's special. Whereas when you're watching something that's, say, on the West End, it's a machine. It's churning out.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
And so I think for that reason, because it's so special and it's only a short run and it's only a handful of people as opposed to a team of 50 or whatever, whether it's backstage or on stage, you really feel like you're playing ball with something unique and something precious, I guess.
It's where you work with my last question is to me. And this is what is incredible to me even more so. You've done an enormous amount of theater, but you do an enormous amount of time. You do a lot of time. And what's interesting to me about that is, in some ways, it's almost the opposite of theater. Yes, I want to say that myself, not being an actor, but I just kind of think it's so. Here you are on stage, and you're on a legendary stage as well. How is that informing your work? The two genres that you work in television.
Well, obviously I trained in theatre, so I feel like it's in me. But since graduating, I've come out and it has been non-stop TV, which
Because you're being cast.
I'm very, very grateful for it. But landing this play, we found out months and months and months and months before we came on stage, and it has been so nerve-wracking. There were lots of dramas of my singing, I'm so sorry. I was worried about all of that.
You're joking.
And I just thank you very much.
And also being on stage as well.
It's the second time I've been on stage in my professional career.
First one was David Manic, so she's getting better.
Okay. Which man exactly?
Yeah.
Which one? Which play?
Oh, Race.
Okay.
It was on at Broadway, then we premiered over here at Hampstead Theatre.
He was my teacher.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh.
So yeah, you have stepped up.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's a master.
But kind of. It's very, very nerve-wracking and daunting. But it's something that I remember from drama school and really craving was the rehearsal process and was sitting with the director who made you unit scripts and stuff like that. Because I do things like, I'm the guest lead of this soap, and literally they give you the time of day. They don't give you the time of day because it is so fast. Yeah. And I guess through my laziness as an actress, I don't take myself out to classes, which I should have done. Therefore, I haven't really been learning my craft. And it was really nice because my agent came in to watch on guest night and he just matured so much in this play because of the direction that I've been given. And I just feel like I'm missing. So it's great. I'm got a bit emotional then.
Yes, your hand just jumped up. Yes.
You talked about improvisation, music, so on and so forth. How much of it does get written down ever at any point? This is an amazing piece of work. Is it something that you visualize maybe being reinvented the someone say takes the role of the MD pianist, would it then be reminted?
The question we've been. Well, we haven't written down. We haven't written down the thing.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
But what was it again? What did we miss?
I think what we're going back to as well is that Nikki is so much a part. Let's say you got a world tour with Prince or whoever, and we couldn't get him to get someone else. I would imagine we'd start again with them.
Yeah.
Is my guess.
The way that I work so far, I'm a songwriter and I get all this composer from the environments and I get contacted from the composer. I don't think I'm a composer, I think I'm a songwriter. And what I try to see is work with musicians who can fill that gap that I've got. And so I would always, and I also think because of you such a part of this play,
Yeah.
and you're such a character. Kind of your as Jennifer was saying about what I'm saying, it's not the kind of business and I can just slot into someone else's kind of shaped.
No.
Yeah, and I think if someone else came in at the right point, then that would need to be someone who was the same caliber of impact.
So does it seem like what
We don't want you to know.
so is it like you do a few chords and have something in your head, you hear something and then you move it?
Yeah, but we think everything about the song in the same way that we, initially very open as writers as well. So, you voice that chord in that way, that's cool, go and do that, I'm not a bit so restricting always playing what initial chords are, and the initial is giving me no place to do that, so it's a bit like when you write a jazz, if you know like about jazz harmony, but it's like Autumn Leaves, amazing song, amazing song, everyone plays it differently, so I guess it's like a jazz approach. I guess it's the way that you just approach any jazz standard. So I kind of see initial songs and Sheila Ashton songs as jazz standards. So it's like the basics, and then
As opposed to the way that Burt Bacharach would build it, which would be really a laid out sort of menu and it'd be places and pieces and all that. Is that?
I really love, I've seen it quite, as you can imagine, I've seen it quite a few times. And I love the fact that Nikki never plays it exactly the same. It's always different. And I always look forward to that. That last flourish just before the last song. Woo.
She's a big jazz musician, so that's what she has to do. Yes, sir. I think we are we
2 minutes.
Okay, we got 2 minutes.
Oh,
Yes.
no.
Yes.
Thank you. Just I really enjoyed the show. Thank you very much. And I came here basically because I was interested in the role of memory. I didn't know anything about the wonderful artists that are there, but now I am familiar with the work and I am more interested. But I am really interested in hearing from you a little bit more about the role of memory because, we saw how we struggle with memory and the past, and that we are hunted, and that the family is hunted and cannot be liberated and needs to fight to really find a kind of. There was a moment where the word conviviality was mentioned, so it's how to and this topic sounds to me very relevant in a world at war where we cannot get rid of memories. But it was interesting for me to hear that basically a place where this big war starts is in the family.
Right.
So I was wondering whether you wanted to tell us a little bit more about this obsession with memory and the dramatic problem of memory.
Yeah, I think you kind of answered your own question. But yeah, I mean, you're right. The past in this play is like the character at the door. He's knocking at the door. He's almost like the kind of monster in the woods. And sometimes I think de Vivier is like the past. When we see his gigantic head at the back. And that's how it operates. But I think that's the same in a lot of Chekhov plays, the same in a lot of great dramas. The unseen force is pressing on the seen world is usually the history.
And it's great.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
The play was fantastic. And
Let's-
the icing on the cake was the close proximity with Darling. The last of us was on television, and you seem much taller than you are.
honey, you know, everybody looks different on TV.
But you've answered the first part of my question, was to do with the racial elements of it,
Right.
hints and that.
Yeah.
But what I said, seeing that the actual play was based on your experience,
Yes.
and you came from a family of 12,
Yes.
and you had half brothers, was wondering why did you solely concentrate the play with sisters and not with a brother? Is there any particular reason
The
why
honest,
you made it sisters?
the honest
and
truth
not
is,
half
I just had this image of 3 women on a stage, and the stage was completely empty. And that was the kind of beginning. I was like, well, who are they to each other? And I just, there's something about, especially having 3 women, goes back to the Scottish play, which you would say name. Just very open, yeah. There's just something very powerful about that. And then I just went with that, really. That was just, and then they kind of told me that they were sisters. And then I realized one was not a full sister. And that was the beginning. For me, it's quite instinct. Like, you know, I can't play a note, I can't sing that. But I love music to the core. And I've listened to jazz all my life. And so for me, it's that kind of instinctive, just go, wait a minute, this is taking me somewhere. This is taking me, this is great, this is great. And even the mistakes are useful, you know, so that's how I make the approach.
Now I got one teeny, because they're gonna throw us out of here, actually, yes.
I just want to say thank you. The show was beautiful. The writer was amazing. The actresses were phenomenal, and the musicians were just seriously outrageous, beautiful. Thank you so much for providing what you provided today. I just want to ask 2 questions. One,
Brother, one,
can
because we
the
gotta go.
actresses and the musicians sign my book? And number 2, are you going to release a soundtrack, or is it going to be on YouTube?
But you know, let's just say, listen, that we have. I think it feels like we're just getting started, and it's always like this. But thank you very much for staying, and but
I just want to make one quick observation about the music. I was sitting there throughout the whole, and I thought, who does this remind me of? Where does this come from? And it's Gershwin and Duke Ellington, and that's why it's so fantastic.
But that's why I said it was New York.
Yeah.
And that is not easy to do. Okay, so that's why I'm like bowing down. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for being here.